Liv Morgan sends a two-word message to Roxanne Perez amid the recent Judgment Day drama. Hello guys. Welcome to my channel, I am Elena. Have a nice day. For the latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Liv Morgan shared a two-word message hyping up Roxanne Perez. The two superstars have bonded since Morgan's return to WWE television. Morgan returned during the Survivor Series premium live event. She helped Dominic Mysterio regain the WWE Intercontinental Championship from John Cena. On the following episode of Monday Night Raw, Morgan stood tall with Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. On Instagram, Morgan shared a photo featuring Perez while the Prodigy made her entrance. The former Women's World Champion hyped up her Judgment Day stablemate. Check out a screen grab of Morgan's Instagram story. Roxanne Perez detailed the interaction she had with John Cena backstage. Roxanne Perez and the rest of the Judgment Day got involved during John Cena's rematch against Dominic Mysterio. This was also Cena's final match at a WWE PLE. Speaking on the Going Ringside podcast, Perez revealed that Cena brought everyone together and asked what they could have done better. She said, "After our match at Survivor Series, he brought all of us together, everyone who was part of that match, and the first thing he asked was, 'Okay, what do you guys think we could have done better?' He was sweating, exhausted, everything. It was just crazy that he was asking us that. What we thought he could have done better at Survivor Series." Perez mocked Cena and hit him with the Pop Rocks before she and Raquel Rodriguez were sent to the back by the referee. This led to Liv Morgan's return, who helped Dominic Mysterio regain the Intercontinental Championship. Perez is expected to go after the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships with Morgan after Rodriguez decided to challenge Stephanie Vaquer for the Women's World Championship. Morgan's original idea was to challenge Vaquer for the title, but Rodriguez had other plans. The Women's Tag Team Championships are held by Asuka and Kairi Sane. The Kabuki Warriors' popular female WWE star reacts to rumors of relationship with Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio is involved in an on-screen romantic relationship with fellow member of the Judgment Day, Liv Morgan. However, there has been a lot of speculation about the self-proclaimed king of luchadors potentially leaving the 31-year-old for another Raw star. Liv Morgan was forced out of action earlier this year in June due to a shoulder injury she sustained during a match. Amid the former Women's World Champion's absence from WWE television, Finn Balor brought former NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez to the Judgment Day, leading to fans believing that the Prodigy would eventually replace Morgan as Mysterio's new on-screen partner. However, that did not happen, and Liv Morgan returned from injury at WWE Survivor Series War Games to help Dirty Dom defeat John Cena to win back the Intercontinental Championship. During a recent interview, Scott Johnson of Going Ringside asked Roxanne Perez what was going on with Dominic Mysterio. The 24-year-old tried to dodge the question, praising Mysterio in her response and calling herself his friend like the rest of the Judgment Day, except Morgan. He, quote, "S king of the luchadors. He's double champ." I think that's pretty much all that's going on for Dominic Mysterio. He's got his Garita, Liv Morgan. He's got his best friends in the Judgment Day, me, Raquel, JD, Finn. So, yeah, Perez said. When asked further, Roxanne Perez claimed that they had always been friends, and she did not know what the fans had wrongly interpreted. Staying in character, the Prodigy added that she would never get in between Mysterio and his Garita. "Me and him, Dominic Mysterio, have always been buddies. I don't know what people are trying to misconstrue in there, but we're just friends. I would never get in the way of him and his Garita. I would never," Perez added. Dominic Mysterio reportedly got injured during a recent match. At Triple Aguera de Titanes 2025, Dominic Mysterio and El Grande Americano were scheduled to face Penta and Rey Fenix. Unfortunately, the 40-year-old suffered a shoulder injury during his last time and now tournament match against Solo Sikoa. However, Rey Mysterio replaced the fellow masked man, further reigniting his rivalry with his son. According to Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer, the Judgment Day member landed awkwardly while taking a DDT from his father. He added that the younger Mysterio could barely use his arm after the spot and likely suffered a shoulder separation. Alvarez opined that the AAA Mega Champion could be out of action for a while. It could be a massive blow to Dominic Mysterio and the Judgment Day, as JD McDonough has already been forced out of action due to injury. Liv Morgan was discovered by WWE star at Hooters. A past interview discussing Liv Morgan's WWE origins has resurfaced. Liv Morgan recorded an interview with Chris Van Vliet that was released online in May 2024. During the conversation, the former SmackDown Women's Champion was asked how she was discovered while working at Hooters. So with a little backstory, everyone at Hooters knew I loved wrestling, Liv Morgan said. I'd be doing my bar shifts, I'd put WWE on the TV, I'd be serving with WWE on the TV like everyone kind of knew was my thing. And apparently before my time, there was a wrestler who will not be named that used to manage this specific Hooters. So anytime they came around in town, they would go to Hooters. Me being the big WWE fan that I was, I saw this wrestler coming to Hooters, and I knew who they were exactly, and I introduced myself. My manager was like, "Hey, we have this girl. She just loves wrestling, and because you're a wrestler, maybe, talk to her." WWE star introduced Liv Morgan to popular strength coach. So I talked to this wrestler for a while, and I was like, I want to wrestle. And they're kind of just like, haha, yeah. I kind of just spent all my wrestling knowledge to them. So they introduced me to this man, Joe DeFranco. He is like a world-renowned strength and conditioning coach. He only trains professional athletes, and he actually trains Triple H on a weekly basis. Morgan explained that she impressed Joe DeFranco with her resilience, which led him to put in a good word for her with WWE. She then went on to impress the coaches during the cardio drills portion of her tryout, eventually earning a contract. As for the now former WWE superstar who managed the Hooters location, it has long been implied to be Enzo Amore, who was romantically involved with Liv Morgan before the two eventually parted ways. 3 replacements for Dominic Mysterio as WWE Intercontinental Champion. Dominic Mysterio is reigning supreme as the Intercontinental Champion on Raw. However, he may be forced to vacate the title after what happened recently. Dirty Dom competed in a huge tag team match at A Beta A's big event, Guerra de Titanes, on Saturday, where he may have suffered a potential injury. During a sequence in his match, he landed awkwardly on his right shoulder. Mysterio immediately grabbed his right shoulder, signaling that he was in excruciating pain. Brian Alvarez from the Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that it could be a shoulder injury. If that's actually the case, Dirty Dom might go on a hiatus to undergo medical procedure, and WWE might be forced to take the championship away from him. Let us take a look at 3 potential replacements for Dominic Mysterio as Intercontinental Champion Dominic. Mysterio is one of the prominent members of the Judgment Day. Even if he is forced to give up his title and go on a hiatus in the wake of an injury, the 28-year-old could play smart. He could hand over the Intercontinental Championship to his stablemate Finn Balor as his replacement, so that the title remains within the Judgment Day. This could give rise to an interesting situation on Monday Night Raw, where Balor would march forward with the championship. He could voluntarily be the new Intercontinental Champion on the red brand, representing Dominic Mysterio in his absence. WWE could do that to avoid any hassle of determining or contesting to crown a new champion. One of the potential names who could replace Dominic Mysterio as Intercontinental Champion is El Grande Americano. WWE has been high on the masked luchador lately, giving him some major moments. However, Americano has yet to win a championship, and Mysterio's potential injury could come as a blessing in disguise for him. WWE could host a mini tournament on Raw to determine the new champ. El Grande Americano could outlast everyone and win that contest and capture the coveted title. The Intercontinental Championship, if it comes under Americano's grasp, could stir a wave of excitement among fans. It will add a unique flavor to the men's mid-card division on the Red brand. 1. Logan Paul can replace Dominic Mysterio. Logan Paul is one of the biggest contenders for the Intercontinental Championship on Raw. A few weeks ago, the Maverick made it clear that he intends to win the title and bring it to the Vision. Therefore, WWE might finally pull the trigger on that if Mysterio had to vacate the title. A heel like Logan replacing another heel would be a perfect replacement. The company could put the social media megastar in a contest involving other stars like Rusev, Finn Balor, and Rey Mysterio. Logan Paul could use his heel tactics to ultimately win that and capture the Intercontinental Championship. With the title in his grasp, WWE can craft several interesting storylines on Monday Night Raw. WWE Raw stars to leave the show. The WWE Raw brand seems to be going full speed ahead to the huge one-year anniversary of its Netflix premiere on January 5th, 2026. With the calendar about to turn over to 2026, there could be some talent that are on their way to leaving the Red brand to pursue opportunities on either SmackDown or NXT. From top names to often overlooked talent, these stars leaving Raw will open up opportunities for themselves elsewhere, while making the landscape of Mondays a lot clearer moving forward. Here are 7 WWE Raw stars to potentially leave the show. Ever since turning heel, the New Day have felt like they have been pushed aside instead of focused on. Despite winning the WWE World Tag Team Championship at WrestleMania 41, this reign did not last too long, with the Judgment Day dethroning them after only 72 days. After losing the gold, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods have not been featured consistently on Raw. Now following their loss to the USOs on the December 15th WWE Raw, the New Day find themselves at the back of the line for another title shot. The New Day moving to SmackDown could open up some compelling matchups for the 13-time WWE World Tag Team Champions in the new year.